Brett Okamoto in Salt Lake City alongside the champ Raquel Pennington, who looks to defend her title at UFC 307. And Raquel, you've always been very, very comfortable in interviews, but I get the sense that like you're kind of a private person, and when you're the champion, there's a whole new sort of lens on you, right? A microscope in on things, and people are checking in with you more. When are you fighting? When are you defending your title? How has the time been since you got that championship and the intention has been a little higher?
You know, honestly, I would say that I have an advantage in this situation. Just being on The Ultimate Fighter, there's nothing like living with a camera on you 24/7, having a microphone on you, and then at random times they just pull you out to a trailer and you're constantly doing an interview. So during that time, I definitely hated being in front of the cameras, and it was just a time frame in my life that completely took me out of my comfort zone and just made me grow in every aspect. So that was one of them, and now it's just a little bit higher demand, but I'm at a place in my life that I'm just truly embracing every part of this journey.
Mm-hmm. How about just like the target on your back? You know, I mean, I can remember even texting you a few months ago and say like, Kayla's saying that you're not going to fight her and you need to get the interim champion, you know, like everyone's talking about you, everyone's targeting you. How has that part been?
You know, I mean, this has been 14 years of hard work, and to see where I've truly come to and finally accomplishing the ultimate goal. And at the end of the day, like, this wasn't the world title, like this wasn't a title of Colorado or the United States. Like, being the world champion, what an accomplishment. No one can take that away. So becoming the 6th ever women's bantamweight champion, I'm proud of myself. And it's like, man, like, I grew up being a hunter. I love it. I'm all about target. I like going out shooting targets and everything else. And to be in that position, like, it's exciting. It's exciting to have everybody chasing you and trying to figure out how to beat you.
Mm-hmm. Have you felt like not even like an increase or decrease in motivation, but just like a change? Because obviously this is something you were chasing for a long time, and now you have it. Was there some kind of like recalibration in sort of how you're motivated, or is it similar?
It's been pretty similar, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like something just truly changed. I feel like as an athlete, you know, sometimes we get defined by our sport and the emotions get really high, and we kind of lose our sense of purpose in that. Sometimes being that athlete in this sport can make you feel like that's your purpose. But ever since I became a mom, like, I've just learned something so different in life. And so having my daughter, like, there's a new motivation. There's my complete purpose. Whether I go out and win or lose a fight, like, I've still won in life. And that's what's exciting. You know, so this is something personal for me and what I'm doing as an individual. But yeah, I mean, just becoming the world champion, obviously that was the ultimate goal. Now the goalpost moves. And so my next goal is to defend the title successfully. And that's just exciting. My personality type, I like conquering challenges. So it's another challenge here, and there's the motivation.
Of all the people you could have fought in your first title defense, it happens to be someone who seemed to greatly annoy you 11 years ago.
Greatly. Greatly.
Who is Julianna Peña to you? What do you think of Julianna Peña?
Julianna is just a chick, you know, I didn't know of her. We ended up on The Ultimate Fighter together. We ended up being teammates. We ended up being roommates. And at the time, you know, everybody, like, they were kind of rude to her. And it was just like, dang, like, that's not how I was raised. And so going into the house, I tried to befriend her. And I quickly learned we have very different personalities. She's somebody that just absolutely got under my skin. I feel like the animosity built from there. I don't know how we haven't aligned within 11 years, but here we are. And, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like Julianna's tough. You know, she's tough. She has heart and she has grit. She's like an annoying chihuahua that just doesn't stop coming. We all know that she just loves to talk her shit. I always say she has a master's degree in yapology. And I feel like that's what she truly does to keep herself relevant. She's had a career where she goes and, I don't know, she'll fight and somehow she gets injured for years and then she comes back. And, I mean, whoever's on her team and getting her these opportunities, great for her. It's built her. And then, you know, she got the world title fight against Amanda. I feel like it was a night. Like, it just shows that we're human beings. It wasn't Amanda's night and Julianna had the biggest upset. But then she came back and she got her ass handed to her for 5 rounds.
What do you, I mean, to expand on that answer a little bit, at the very end of that answer, do you think she was lucky to get that win over Amanda Nunes?
You know, I mean, luck, whatever. At the end of the day, like I said, we're human beings and we're not invincible. So she went out there and it was her night. She got her hand raised and she became a champion. But I think it just kind of circled back and it showed who the real champion was at the time.
I mean, 11 years ago, you know, you change and she changes, but are you finding yourself, like, as the interviews start to go around, does she still annoy you? Does she get under your skin right now?
You know, I mean, I think it's something that it's kind of funny because there's been a couple times, it's been a long camp, you know, you're putting in the grind. I've done so much work. Like, the motivation behind it. And there's been a couple nights that I was like, oh, I don't want to go do this cardio. And Tisha would just send me a picture of her face, and I'm like, oh, it still annoys me. All right, cool. So yeah, to a certain degree, she still annoys me. You know, she's the kind of person that I stay in my own lane. Like you said, I just kind of do my own thing, and she's just out there just saying all the things. So saying I'm a terrible representation of the women's bantamweight division. Like, I'm not going to teach people to go out there and bully each other and whatnot. You know, the biggest thing for me is having my platform and having the kids who look up to me, my daughter first and foremost, my godkids, and all the kids in my family, and then in the rest of the world. So yeah, just by me staying in my own lane and whatever, if you want to say I'm a terrible representation, okay, whatever. Like, I'm doing exactly what I need to, and I'm teaching people how to accomplish their goals, even when the odds are against you. I've been an underdog my entire career. And then to go out there and, you know, just say things like, oh, I'm a drunk on the show and this, that, or another, like, delusional is all I have to say. And it's just, it's interesting. Like, it's just little things like that, you know? I mean, my family, like, I have an uncle who we really struggled with, who really did have an alcoholic issue. And it's just like, to see different things and how they can talk. But at the end of the day, like, none of that shit matters. Our fists are going to do the talking. And so I'm finally just excited to go punch her in the face. For one, just, it's been 11 years. For two, she's a new challenge. She's a new opponent. And then for three, for all that annoying shit she's ever done.
The last thing I have for you, and like, this is your title fight, this is your weekend, but Kayla Harrison, the name of her has just been attached to this so much. And I want to give you an opportunity, because I do feel like, not that it's a strong narrative, but that it, like, some people are saying, these girls don't want to fight her. They don't want to fight Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is big and scary. I want to give you an opportunity to anybody who thinks that, anybody who thinks like, hey, Kayla Harrison, like they're fighting for the belt, but Kayla's on this card and we're interested in her. Like, what would you say to that?
You know, at the end of the day, I feel like it's when Holly Holm came into the UFC, right? She came in, she had a huge hype train behind her. I feel like Kayla is that new era girl. She has a massive hype train behind her. At the end of the day, she is just another human being. She is another chick who has gone out and had huge accomplishments for herself, but she is not invincible. And so, you know, that's what this is all about, right? Everybody hypes these things up. It makes it exciting. It makes it exciting for the outside world. But as an athlete, like, you keep your mind right. And I always say this sport is 90% mental, 10% physical. You keep your mind right and you just understand that, and you go out there, like, Kayla's going to get beaten at some point. And, you know, I mean, she's already been beaten. And it's just crazy to me with this weekend. Like, it's an exciting fight. I'm looking forward to watching her fight with Ketlen. But with that being said, like, it just amazes me how, because you have a huge name, it right away takes away from the other person, you know? Don't count Ketlen out. She's tough. She's lengthy. She is not afraid to strike with you. You're in the UFC. You're on the biggest stage. You have a ton of talent here. And, you know, I mean, Kayla's known for her judo. Ketlen's a black belt in judo. Ketlen also has grappling. Ketlen has striking. So, like I said, don't count Ketlen out. It's going to be a great time.